So I try to stay humble because I've learned from experience that when you think you're better than everybody, you're not happy. Like, and I don't care how good you do, how awesome you are, like, you won't go that far in life with that kind of attitude. And that's something that I tell people a lot is try to stay humble because if you don't, someone will put you in check. There will be someone in your life that will be like, "Hey, dude," like they'll pull you down, be like, "Yo, don't be doing that." You know what I mean? And I'm always expecting someone to give any kind of criticism when.
Welcome to my podcast, and I have here Eli Sherman, who is my first one here on this show. So welcome, Sherman. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How about you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, it's awesome that we're able to meet and the time works for you. And so, tell us about your background and your interest in wanting to make an impact in the world.
I grew up an athlete, and uh, art was always something that I've enjoyed since I was a kid. Um, and I started drawing when I was a kid, and I actually wrote a little bit of a book when I was younger. But at the time, I wasn't like I didn't fully understand art at the time. I just knew that I did it because it helped me out. And even as I got older, and when I was in high school, um, when I was on the football team, but I was also part of the drama club. And my junior year, um, I got done with a play called Wait Until Dark. It's an older movie and play. And when I finished, I was taking the costume off, and I thought, I could do this for a living. Like this is really really cool. And uh, I've done several years of college, and as I've uh, mentioned to you before, I going back to school to do film production. See how that goes. I want to do it because I want to help make a good story. I specifically want to go into film because I enjoy helping others, and that's my biggest satisfaction is helping others achieve their goals. And I've had many opportunities throughout my life to achieve that, and uh, that's probably out of all the things I've done, that the thing I look at is if I enjoy stuff, and then the main thing I look at is how can I benefit people? What's something I could do to uh, help other people do better in life? And because I've had my struggles, there's been a lot of things that I would say have been an obstacle. Uh, I try to use positive words like obstacle because uh, a lot of people say like issue or problem. It's a very negative term, so I try to say obstacles. Um, and there's a lot of things I like. However, there's few things I'm passionate about, and the arts is one of them. The number one reason why I enjoy it so much is because it's a way of expressing oneself. It's a way of expressing yourself, and being a man, especially in today's society, you're kind of expected to act a certain way. You're expected to be tough. And I remember in high school, I was given a lot of crap because I did theater, And I realized as I got older, like it don't really matter as much because, uh, there's other people that do it as well. And uh, art was something that I realized that I was pretty good at, and something that I was really passionate toward. Drawing was the first thing I got into, and I learned from a lady from uh, the college that I go to that uh, the reason why most people are very creative, and the reason why they're so creative is because they start young as a kid. They draw, they do painting. There's just so many forms of art that people do in general, and I want to see if I could turn it, into a career. Uh, there's a book that I wrote that it's on Amazon Kindle, uh, and there's other books that I started writing. They all have different storylines. They're all majority of them are like sci-fi, fantasy. That's another thing I find joy in is writing, and uh, there's some people that have uh, that I've directed toward my writing. I guess there's people that enjoy it, and the purpose of writing the book and going into art and trying to do film is because I want to give a good story. I want to, specifically with my book, I want people to read it and want to change, want to be better individuals because everybody, those that are humble, always try to find ways to improve themselves, to be a better person, because no one on this earth is perfect. No one on this earth is just that one amazing person because we all have faults. We all have our, obstacles. And um, another thing that I've really uh, has been a big part of my life is it depends on your religious beliefs. Everybody has their faith and their beliefs. And me, I've always been a believer in the higher power. And uh, I call him the big guy. Everybody calls him God, the Lord, Heavenly Father. I call him the big guy, and he's blessed me a lot. He's helped me out with situations that I probably shouldn't have been blessed. Um, but that's another thing, like spirituality is something that, uh, and I try to, uh, regardless of anybody's background and situation, I try to uh, not judge. It's obviously we're humans, so we're gonna, uh, have our difficulties. Um, and another reason why I'm doing uh, the film is because when my son grows up, I want him to learn that no matter what your background is, who you are, your struggles in life, that you can achieve things. That art is something that you can always do. It's something that um, I've always enjoyed, and it's helped me out a lot through life. There's a lot of things that have helped me, but art specifically has uh, helped me out. Same with sports. Sports has helped me out, but as I got older, I learned that sports aren't everything. That eventually I'm going to get older. Eventually, I mean, I'm in my mid 30s, and I've already felt uh, my body, some of the uh, issues or injuries that I suffered when I played sports, and um, I also want to show to my son that he can do something and be successful. Uh, and I've gone back and forth with people that I know about if I want him to play football because I got hurt. I probably would have had a more successful career in American football. Um, However, I guess my path has gone, elsewhere, and um, but I would like to, show to him and direct him into something that he could do. And a lot of things I do now is because I want to show to him and for him to learn that you can achieve things. And um, there's not a whole lot of people, I would say, that believe in me, that have faith in me, that I will accomplish things. Um, and it's something I'm used to. I'm kind of used to having to prove myself. Um, and I guess really all I could do is just do what I can, see where, things go. And I used to not believe in the whole destiny thing. I used to not believe in the whole things happen for a reason thing. I still kind of struggle with it at times. But I look back on my life, and there's been many instances where uh, I guess things happen, for a reason. And um, yeah,
Well, that's really awesome that you're pursuing your dream and you're allowing yourself to unfold in that path. And you had mentioned when it comes to just building your confidence in some form, your identity, that you're not allowing others to impact you based on their viewpoint. And that's what a lot of, when it comes to like older souls, starseed,
right,
or the term wanderer, when it comes to the law of one and the raw material. I mean, lots of people have been, damaged in this fallen system, and based on what we've been grown up to in the background and the history, trying to deprogram ourselves as we grow into society, into the world. We build that foundation, or somehow try to rebuild it from the solid first 5 years of being, a child. And you had mentioned about art, how that journey that you had taken had really given you that stamina in life to keep going forward, to bring out, it brought out your higher self, your passion in life. And you saw the balance when it comes to like sports, and you saw the long-term vision on what you could do with your life, and the impact that you want to create in the world by pursuing that dream, by like you wanting to be a better example as a father, a parent, and lead the way for your kid. It really shows that you are compassionate and caring and thoughtful. There's a genuine part of you that is what attracted me to want to interview you. And it's awesome that you're able to make it. Again, thank you. And you're just like, I can see that you're doing like leaps and stages in your life. Like you had written books, and thank you for mentioning about the books. And hopefully that those who are interested, that they can look into that, and they can look further into this interview and your long run vision goal of what you want to accomplish. And I'm so in awe that you had mentioned about how you present God, and or the big man, or others call it the big brother, or the man upstairs, or
yeah.
and some people call the energy masters, and just different forms of how we recognize and how we connect with the whole of life, of universe, and how it gives us and protects us and guides us through life, and how we acknowledge that. And the issue when it comes to others allowing themselves into different venues and idealisms, ideologies, they, like in the New Age movement or in the metaphysical, there's that, it's really popular right now how people are saying, oh, I'm God. And of course, God is within, and there's that fragment of God within everybody. There's that essence in all of us and everybody equaling themselves as a creator. I mean, of course we create, but in order to create something, we need to have something to create. And that is, of course, the universe has already provided that. So there's, in anything in life, there's a hierarchy. And so everybody leveling themselves as in, I'm the creator and
Right.
I'm God, you know, it really belittles the idea that you can actually do much more than God himself. And so and I understand that we're all humans and we're all walking in this and on this earth, in this material body, in a soul or spirit, whatever you want to call it. And we're here living in like a simulation in this earthly life of trying to expand, always to expand our consciousness and awareness in life, and continue to go forward and how to present that and based on what we believe in or our faith or no, because there's a fine line when it comes to believing and knowing. You just know that you got to go in that direction because you're being led. And that essence of you being guided, it's that, you know, is that fragment of that life in you from the creator, from the master of this universe that is activating you. And like, this is where you can go. This is what you can do to help better society and help better connections with families, social, you know. And so what is your dream when it comes to walking into the film industry? What's your like end? Is it like more like Hollywood, or just present your message out there in the best way that you can, and hopefully that your son will follow through and see that the good and the value that you're presenting comes through?
I would say just get things out there. I mean, if I were to go to Hollywood, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be against it. Um,
Yeah, you never know. You like think big, dream big.
right, right. But with Hollywood, I'm kind of hesitant with that stuff just because there's good, but there's also bad. And, um, I just generally want to, I guess, get a message out there. I've been like that since I can remember. I've always wanted to do something bigger than life. And I've always wanted to, uh, I wanted to help people. And from what I've been told, that's very rare in today's society. A lot of people have been hurt, and so they don't really care for people as much anymore. Um, and even my own mom, told me one time, "I don't understand why you still care when you can't control everybody, and some of the things that have happened, and uh, you are very forgiving, and you." She's like, "I just don't get it, like how you're." And I just told my mom, I'm like, well, I want to like help people. I want to. And she said, well, son, you can't save the world. And I said, that's true, but I can try. I can try to uh, help people out any way I can. Out of all the things I've done in my life, I really, um, as I mentioned earlier, find a lot of joy in helping others achieve their goal. So my end goal for like finishing school is I would really like to land uh, possibly a job that can uh, do something meaningful and present a story that would help people. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people with a lot of vision. Um, and the main reason why I'm going into this is because I want to see if I can be part of something bigger than me. Um, there's two films that I saw that I really enjoyed, and it had an excellent storyline. Slumdog Millionaire and Kite Runner. I don't know if you've seen those two, but they are fantastic films. I suggest watching them because they have a really good story. And I want to do something like that. I want to be part of a film that has a good story like that, because I'll be real, there's a lot of films in today's that don't really mean anything. It's just a lot of it's action, and don't get me wrong, I like action. It's really cool. Uh, However, there's just very many, and it's not just film. It's video games, it's music, uh, it's fashion ideas. It's not very many people are putting their heart into it. That, or just not a lot of companies are giving people a chance, which that's a possibility. Um, but that's my end goal with film, is I would love to eventually, uh, honestly, my like dream job would be like a film actor. I uh, In the past, I've received a lot of uh, positive feedback, which I'm very grateful for. Um, but I would like to either be a film director or actor. However, that's a little difficult, more difficult, to achieve, because there's a lot of people, doing that. Um, so I'm just kind of getting the feel for things and see how it goes. Um, and I've actually gone to the college and asked them what uh, jobs are like most demanding right now, and uh, they said that sound mixer and production assistant and video editor. Um, and so I'll do what I have to do, you know what I mean, to land, a good job. Um, and so, but those are the one I told you, the film director and film actor would just be awesome. Um, and I forgot what I was gonna say. There was something I was gonna. Um, but anyways, that's my end goal for finishing school, is to land, a decent job. And the whole reason why, another reason why I'm going into doing film, is because I want to do something that I enjoy. Because I've done a lot of jobs that I just did it because it was a job. I was raised by a dad that you get a job, you work, even if you don't enjoy it, you just do it. And um, so I just kind of got to the point where I'm like, you know what, let me try this, see where it goes. Because creatively, I've been told by multiple people that I'm very creative, and I just really would like to use those skills to. I'd like to vitalize them and to really do something not only meaningful, but use the skills that I have, the creative skills. Um, and uh, I told when I went to class the other day, I told my teacher that the reason why I specifically chose film is because not only would I be able to be part of telling a story, because films change people's point of view. They really have a huge impact. Same with like photography and drawing, dancing, uh, singing. There's all kinds of forms of art. And uh, I decided film. I thought about like stage directing, doing plays, but there's not as much people that you're involved with. And that's why I decided film, because there's more people that I would be interacting with. And I have my moments with people. I'm the type of individual that when if I'm doing my job and the other person is being difficult and doesn't want to do their job or something like that, uh, I sometimes have a difficulty with that. Um, However, I do what I can to uh, compromise and to achieve a goal. Um, and so that's my end goal, is to uh, graduate from the college and possibly get, a job that I'm able to do. And creatively, I would really enjoy uh, doing something in film. Uh, and I have a friend that, as I mentioned before, he's in Colorado as well, and he's going to have me part of a project that he'll be doing later down the road, which he's going to have me act in a piece, not like a real big role, um, but I've been hesitant with doing art, like film specifically and acting and stuff like that, because it's not a guarantee. You know what I mean? There's so many people that uh, creatively that are around, and I've been told how competitive it is, um, and which I right now in my life I feel like odds are stacked against me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel that way. However, I just like to give it a try, see how it goes. I'd rather try and than not try. I'd rather give the effort and tell myself later, like, well, at least I tried. You know what I mean? To see where it goes. Because in the past, I've made choices where I didn't try because I was scared of failure. I was scared because I I look at failure different from most people. I'm learning to change the thought process, which is I look at failure as you screwed up, like you're done. Fix it and then move on. Whereas there's a lot of people that have been explained to me that you need to look at it as a learning experience. And that's something that I'm still trying to learn. Um, but it's difficult sometimes just because I love my dad. Um, he was a good man. Uh, However, like every family, and uh, there was moments that were difficult, and uh, just kind of like had to do things a certain way, and failure wasn't an option type of thing. Um, so I'm trying to, and even toward my son, uh, it's crazy because like being a dad, it's it's the craziest thing that I've done, and a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I can to be the best, to be a good example toward my son. And I love my dad. He was a good example. However, there were things that I think he could have done better as a dad. Uh, but he did what he could. Every parent. I think that if they're a good parent, they do what they can for their kids, and they do what they were taught. And there are certain things that uh, the way that my parents, especially my dad, kind of presented to our family that I'm trying to break, which is my mom uh, told me to break the yelling cycle, and my dad didn't ever uh, like smack me and stuff like that, but he would let me know his opinion. You know what I mean? And uh, I guess there was like difficulties in my life, but that was something my mom told me is to break the cycle of yelling, to break the cycle of aggression, and to uh, be a better example to my son. And I've been learning that the way you treat your kid in return will treat people the same way. And it's really cool because when he's been around people, uh, like for example, I took him to a local church that I go to, and the people that were watching him a little bit, they said he was a good kid, and I actually saw him pick up the toys and the stuff that they were doing there, and he put them back. And I thought to myself, well, either that's good parenting or he's doing that on his own. And I felt proud. You know what I mean? That he was doing that. Anytime he does stuff like, and he'll help me, and um, it's really cool that he does that. And it might be due to his grandpa. My son lives with his mom, and his grandpa um, on his mom's side is a good dude, and that might be why I told my mom the other day that what I thought. That thought, either that's good parenting or he's just doing that on his own. And my mom was like, "Well, I think that's a little bit of both. I think he's may have like learned, to do that, and he also uh, probably like kind of did it, on his own. Because there's things that he's done that I'm just like, I didn't teach him that. You know what I mean? There's times where I'm just like, this kid, like, this is cool. Like, it's cool to witness. And uh, being a parent is, I don't know if you've seen the movie Rocky Balboa uh, with Sylvester Stallone. There's a scene in the movie where he says, uh, when I used to I watched you grow up. It was beautiful. He said it was like a privilege watching you grow up. And I always think about that line that he said because I thought it's the same thing with me. It's really cool to watch him progress in life to grow. And he's a smart kid. And uh I hope to I hope he sees when he gets older that art he can use his brain to do things to benefit society. And uh, I'm the type of person that when it comes to careers and jobs and stuff like that, I care more about enjoying a job and doing something that I feel is meaningful than to do a job that I'm not happy with and earning loads of money because in today's society, and I mean, and this has been throughout history, uh, a lot of people care about money. And I really don't like how in today's society, so many people, money can be a good thing. You know what I mean? You have bills that you have to pay, and sometimes it can't help you out. However, there's more important things in life. You know what I mean? Than like money, and that's something that I've seen how greedy people can get. I've seen how it's changed people, and I can't like it's not necessarily, I guess, a bad thing. I can't blame people. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, there's more things to life. You got your family, you got your friends, there's the big guy upstairs. Um, because I point out to people all the time that when you pass away, you're not going to have any of that when you pass away. You're not going to, I'm not going to bring where I live with me. I'm not going to bring this TV. I'm not going to have these clothes. I'm not going to have the money, car, all this stuff. We're not going to have it when we pass away. I'm not going to. You know what I mean? But what you can take with you is your personality and your soul and the kind of person you are. And I try to be the best example that I could be toward not only my son, but to other people. And that's another reason why I'm trying to do the career path that I'm doing because I just want to uh, I want my son to grow up in something good, and I want him to uh, just try to accomplish things in life because when he gets older, he's going to ask me questions. He's going to want to know how to figure out life. And I saw a thing online the other day that it said, "Don't just tell your kids to be a good man, be the man be the example. Don't just say, hey, be this example, be the example." And I believe that because you can't say something and expect people to do it when you don't do it yourself. And if if I weren't doing what I'm doing now, I can't tell my son, hey, you should do this, or hey, you can do this, because he can turn around and be like, well, what did you do, Dad? You know what I mean? Did you even try to, do that? And so that's another factor of why I decided to do uh, what I do because I want him. If he asks that, I could be like, "Well, I tried." You know what I mean? I tried to go down this path and um, see where it went. Um, yeah,
But it's awesome that you are also like continue to go forward and what, despite with what your mom was telling you that the world doesn't, we live in a world in a society where it's more about the self. It's more about
right.
taking care of our ego. It's more about taking care of our own stuff and like cutting off ties and cutting off whatever that doesn't, I mean, there's a certain point when you can just like, of course, cut off the ties of the people who are toxic. But when it comes to like building your dreams, you want those people to support that type of support, so type of a community. And when you have those connections, the energy, not just in yourself but in others, and allowing that your passion and their passion, to flourish. And then when it comes to just other areas, it's more like a hit and miss. And it all depends too what you focus on what type of platform. It can actually succeed no matter what. And even if it's not top on the social media platform list of interconnecting and networking and whatnot. And you continuing to follow that dream and wanting to be a film director despite of all the competition out there. And I mean, when it comes to the titles of things, it's like, of course, we got to build ourselves up to get there and build any type of whatever doors that open up. And again, cutting the line, the boundaries, which doors to walk through and which ones that we should close. And it's awesome as you're doing that is you're also balancing it out as what you can do to be a good father again to your son, and seeing how he can walk that line with you and follow through your steps. And at the same time, like what you're doing is redirecting your steps in life and what works for you versus what didn't work with how you saw your parents did it, and in each generation, of course, they do that. It's really inspirational also to hear your story about your friend that you connected with in Colorado as well, that has that, that area for you. And he has you in mind of what role you can take. And are also open to it, to taking that opportunity, and you're still thinking about it. And I'm hoping that you will, because who knows, maybe it's like the little things in life that will lead us to the bigger steps that will lead us to that bigger dream that you're pursuing. So it's good to network with people like that who have a similar mindset, wavelength, that you can build your energy and your frequency and attract those opportunities and go forward in the direction that you're looking for. And again, it's that spark that's like the man upstairs is like tapping you. It's like, come on, just wake up now. This is the direction. This is what I'm providing for you. And like, don't ignore it. And it's awesome that you're like, it's best to try versus just giving up completely. You start to walk that line, and you start to want to maintain that level of standards of wanting to continue going forward in life. And so, what's that?
Sorry for cutting you off. Before I forget, I was going to say that I was raised by a dad that did construction, and he was disappointed that me and my brothers didn't go into that area. My oldest brother, he's I can't remember, I don't know his like actual title, but he lives in Colorado as well. And he does some like film stuff. I think he mainly edits videos, and then my second oldest brother, he's a doctor. And then my third oldest brother, I can't remember. I think he helps out with some department with like helping students and stuff. And then my sister's a teacher. And at times I could hear my dad say, "Get a real job." You know what I mean? Like that was something. So a lot of times I didn't really tell my dad. And a lot of times I'm hesitant with telling people what I want, like artistically, because growing up, I was told like, really, like, get a real job, dude, like do something else. Like that's not ideal. And my one friend that I mentioned, he had me do an audition. And when I guess what sets me apart from most people as acting is when I do it, I think about the situation and I act the way that I would act in the situation. And I'm so used to doing the real thing. And when I was in high school, uh, I I was originally Carlino, one of the main characters, but I got a concussion in football, so I wasn't able to be Carlino because uh, I couldn't remember all the lines. I forgot, like I couldn't remember how to do the lines, and all I had to do, I we were doing a show in 2 weeks. I think it was either 2 or 3 weeks, and my director was like, "Hey, I don't like to do this to you, but you're gonna have to. I'll give you a line, and you're gonna have to memorize it within. It might have been a week, but it was a short amount of time. And when you have a concussion, it's really difficult to remember things. And but I memorized it, and not only did I memorize my line, but I memorized other actors' lines. That's because of how passionate I was and how much I loved acting and theater. And uh, and when I did the piece, I ended up being a cop. I switched to a cop because after I got hurt, she was like, it'd probably be good to put you as a cop. She's like, I don't want you out completely. I still want you because you're a good actor. So I want you to do something. And originally for my piece, there was going to be no lines. But again, she told me she wanted to do that because she liked me as an actor. And so she was like, you know what? I'll give you a piece. It's just one line. And uh, I still remember the line, which was, "Oh, the phone's down. Phone's down. First aid and ambulance. That's what we need." And playing sports, I was used to like physical stuff, and I grew up doing physical jobs. And I was not used to props. I was learning about props, and props aren't the real deal. They're just there for looks. And I actually broke the door and the wall prop because me playing football, I hit a lot when I played. I was very physical, and I hit it and I busted the wall and the door a couple times. And my director was getting so frustrated. She's like, Eli, you need to stop doing that. She's like, they're props. They're not the real thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Uh, I I'm used to doing the real thing. I'm used to like, really hitting the door. You know what I mean? And uh, so eventually she was like, you know what? Fine. I give up, Eli. Just break it. I guess let's try to replace it. And uh,
Mhm.
I was like, I'm sorry. She's like, what you could do is hold your hand on the handle. So when you push it, you don't, uh, but that was fun. And uh, so that's something that I guess that's different because when I did an audition tape for my friend, uh, and it was a role to be a cop. And um, when I did it, he really liked it. He told me, he's like, you were very real. Like you were. I can't remember exact words that he used, but he said like you were convincing when you did it. Like it was just felt so raw and so real. And I told him, I said, honestly, what I do is I act the way that I would act if I was in the situation. If I was that specific person, even though I'm doing a different role, I act the way that I would act, me personally. And when I was in college and when I went to in high school, I took 2 years in a row state. And so we here in Utah, uh, I was selected because I won in the regionals, and then we went to state for pantomime. And I was more of an ensemble guy, but I ended up doing pantomime because, and I asked my teacher, I said, why do you keep putting me in solo work and where I'm not working with everybody else? She's like, to be honest with you, you're good on your own. And I'm like, but I prefer to be around people. Like I want to do ensemble because I'm a team player. I do good on my own. I'm able to, even at my last job, I would tell people, if you leave me by myself and let me do my thing, I'll do a good job. And I could work well with people. I'm a team player. But uh, I went to state 2 years and uh, got gold in both the years, my junior and senior year. And I did pantomime, uh, aka miming, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, to do. But I did the same thing. I did the way that I would do in the situation, and uh, a lot of times when I've done pieces, what makes me stand out is that and just my personality on how I express myself. And I guess it's entertaining. Like people find it very entertaining when I do pieces and when I would act. Uh, and I grew up dancing as well. When I was a kid, I grew up around people that did break dancing. Um, I did a little choir. I wasn't as good as some people, but I did plays. There was musicals I did. I still remember. I still sing the songs that I sang in Oklahoma. It's that Oklahoma is a very old play and movie. Hugh Jackman actually acts in it. And when I was younger, I acted in it. I was like 14, I think. And I really enjoyed that. I still remember the songs. And I have a friend that she's auditioning for American Idol, and I've told her that I have faith in her. You know, she said they're going to let her know, what happens. There's kind of a process. I didn't know this, but there's a process to getting on actual American Idol. And when she told me she was going to do it, I'm like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. Cause I'm the type of person that I don't tell people I don't believe in them. I prefer to say the opposite because so many people laugh when people are like, hey, I'd like to, do this. And even if it's someone I don't like, I say, well, I hope it works out for you, and, if you really want to do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? And, but with, majority of people, I say, hey, I have faith in you. I believe you can do it. You know what I mean? And I have a friend that is autistic, and we're really good friends. And I've been friends with him since elementary school. And there's times where like we'll be doing something and he gets frustrated. And I'll tell him I know you get frustrated. And I said, I'm hard on you because I know other people don't think you can do it. I know you can do it. That's why I tell you to do it. And I told him, I said, I know a lot of people have told you you can't do it when you can. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to be the type of person that's going to be like, oh, you can't do it. I'm just not that type because one, I know how it feels to have somebody say, hey, you can't do this. You know what I mean? And uh, so that's something that like, and I don't know, like, I think it helps them out a little bit. Um, and I think it gives them a confidence boost. And because I prefer to give people confidence, um, because it helps them out. I know how it feels to have low self esteem, and uh, I have I don't know. There's struggles that I have like emotionally, and um, it's a real big struggle. And I try to be positive, and I try to do the same thing with other people, and just like with my friend Shane, I try to uplift people. And at my last job, I would joke with people and I would try to uplift people because a lot of jobs in today's society just suck. I'll be real. There's a lot of jobs that people, uh, they're in their life, they're struggling and they come to work. And when it's very dull and, you know, you're just doing your job, it really sucks. And so, and that's been like that with other jobs that I've been at. I tried to, uh, joke around with people and help people get into a better mood. And uh, because it helps, we're all going through stuff. And um, to me, it shows character when someone does that. And I, other than like being an example to my son, I tell people all the time that I try to be the friend that I would want in a friend. And I feel a lot better, doing that. And I do a lot of what I do because I feel better about myself. I try to be honest with people about things, even if it's a difficult, subject. And uh, that's something that's benefited me. Majority of my life is being honest, and that's something I was taught growing up, was to be honest. But it's good to a point. Sometimes it's not so good because there's times where I'm too honest. Uh, and some people use that against me. I've, had that happen in the past. So I kind of been selective about like what I give, what information, you know what I mean? Um, because in the past, there's people that have used that against me. Um, and so, but I still try to be honest and care for people. And uh, the the main things that I get from people a lot, other than being genuine, is the honesty, doing what I say I'll do. That's something very important to me. Same with trust. It means a lot to me when someone trusts me because it shows that they value me, that they can rely on you. And I was taught ever since I can remember that that's a good value. That's something that I was brought up to value. And in today's society, not a lot of it boggles my mind how people don't value that. There's a lot of people that don't have that core value, and it speaks volume for those individuals. And I feel better about myself, you know, trying to be honest with people and do what I say I'll do, and just being a decent person in general. I when I pass away, I want to look at my life and say, you know what, I did what I could, and I did a pretty good job considering the situation. And so I think that's a valuable thing, especially in today's society. And when it comes down to it, I care more about what the big guy thinks, what he feels about me, and what I feel about myself. When I was younger, when I was in high school, uh, when I was playing football, my teammates thought I was gay because I was in the theater club, the drama club, and when I was in the drama club, my classmates or fellow actors thought I was a jerk, and they thought that I was stupid because I was a football player. But it was the opposite. Just because I'm in drama does not mean I'm gay. You know what I mean? It's not. Uh, that's not how I swing. But anyway, it was just crazy. I'm like, I'm not, just because I'm in this does not mean I'm gay. You know what I mean? But you'd be surprised. Like that's how it was, back then. And I don't know how it is now, but uh,
No, I understand what you mean because when we're in high school, middle school, whatever, going throughout our years in school, you get labeled and you get boxed in, and that's how they see you. It's like when you don't really know the person, but of course you're also growing. You're going through puberty,
right.
and if you don't know yourself, especially if you've been like deprived from society, of course the person will be more in solitude and more in quiet zone mode of like you said, you act the role and you really put all your effort in it and you act that role, and it's like, how would you, when you're acting that role, those lines, you really dive into those words as if it's you. You become one with the character, and you also like present real tears and just emotions, and you just show this type of vulnerability in yourself that others haven't seen in you because you're on stage, because they see you as a different person. And so ones that others, like, they saw your different side of you, you're able to take bigger roles. It's great that you're able to remember other people's lines too, because I wasn't.
In that same setting, I kind of broke the stereotype for
Mm-hmm.
uh, what typically a jock is and what a drama nerd is. And I think that's another thing that made me stand out. And a lot of people didn't think I could do it, and I was made fun of for it, but I didn't care because I was doing what I enjoyed. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
type of person that when I do something I enjoy, I could care less what
Mm-hmm.
I think. You know what I mean? Like that's how I was in high school. I was just like, well, that's you. You know, I'm doing what I enjoy, and I really don't care. You know,
Yeah, yeah, that's the issue when it comes to society. It's like it's walking the talk. It's having that golden rule, like you have presented, like how would you treat another person, because that's how you would want to treat yourself. It's like, you, in order to have that respect, give the person respect, and it mirrors in anything that we do in life. So like bad situations, like you're wondering like why that issue had occurred in our path, and
yeah,
it's because there's something in us that we need to grow out of, or we need to learn from. And again, it's like everything that we do in life, it's not about failing at something, it's more about learning the lessons and going forward and seeing what we can do better. Like, we're so self-absorbed in our own world, we don't see past what other people's potentials are, and
right,
we continue to keep them in a box because we're just so programmed and, associating with them in that title that we've given them. But once we take out that title, and once we take out those blind spots, we're able to see that there's lots of potentials there. There's lots of opportunities for that person to grow into and walk into. And yeah, so this is, I just love hearing your story. And I just love how you remember movie titles. I don't, is it Slumdog, that one movie that you had
yeah.
mentioned? I'm sure I'm going to I'm going to listen to this again, and I'm going to jot down those titles, and yeah, look into those movies and see what you've
I enjoy
inspired
them.
you.
Sorry,
Sorry.
uh, I enjoy them because they have a good storyline. And the Slum Dog Millionaire it's an Indian movie. It's a movie they did in India, and the other one, The Kite Runner, it was I think it was filmed in Afghanistan, and uh, it just they really had really good stories, and I like stories like that where it's just it was they were meaningful films, and I'm sure they weren't the directors and actors. They weren't. I don't think they were big time. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of times, more often than not, the more independent films and the smaller films are better. Uh, and that's something that kind of boggles my mind is you got these big blockbuster films where they have all this money, and when it comes to the end result, I mean the movie's okay. There's very few that do a good job, that have a big budget, but more often than not, the smaller budgets do a really good job.
Yeah, it's like once you're in that flow, it starts coming out, and you start tapping to the universe, and that's what actors do. They tap into that character because they're allowing that energy to flow with them, in them, and act, you know, present that vulnerable side of them. And yeah,
Right. I I totally agree with you. It's there's difficult parts in acting, and there's easy stuff. It when you if you want to see real good actors, go to a play, because with plays, as you know from experience, that when it comes to plays, if you mess up on a line, everybody sees it, and you have to capitalize on it. I've had that happen before where I forgot the line, and then someone had to say something, then I was like, oh yeah, it's this. But I've also been on the other end where someone forgot, and then I was like, hey, yeah, so this happened. um, and it's not uh real difficult, but it's really cool, to do. And uh when I decided that one day that I thought I could do it for a living, because it was really fun. And I for many years I was hesitant because there's so many people that compete for it. There's good talent out there. And so I've been very, ever since when when I act, it's just been my thing. It's something I did to deal with life. It was something that I realized that I was good at. And I was raised in a family that to be very diverse and to be good at a lot of things. And I was able to perform naturally at a lot of, things. There's some things I'm not good at, and there's some things I am. And with acting, uh, it's when it comes to film, it's just like a whole new world for me. Everybody says for different areas like games, sports, a specific job, art. Everybody says like, "Hey, this was like my world. This was something that I really enjoyed," and there was a huge satisfaction in acting, and when I interacted with other actors, and um, it was just really cool to uh, and when I went to state, I was not expecting that. I was not even expecting to go to regional. I did not. I didn't think I had that kind of talent. But when I went there, I was like, "Holy crap, man! This is like these." Because I saw all the actors, and I was like, "This is like all the actors in the state." You know what I mean? I grew up in a smaller town, uh, and I was used to playing sports. I was used to competing. And the thing I like about art is it's not a competition. It's just, and everybody encourages each other. That's how it was when I went to state. And being in sports, it tripped me out that people weren't like competing, weren't like, "Hey, I'm going to do better than you. I'm going to do better than you." It wasn't like that. And I liked it because when I played sports, I liked competing, like showing my skills, but I didn't like the, "Hey, I'm better than you. Oh, you're going to be a loser." I wasn't into that. I was never that kind of athlete. I didn't really care about that. I just enjoyed the competition, like of just playing. Well, if you rehearse that much, you're going to get tired and you're not going to be able to do, your full energy. Because when I did pantomime, the pieces I did, they were very physical. One of them, I was a gladiator, and the other one was I was a doctor. And I did my own, it was my original piece that I did. And there's times where people ask me to perform them and I could still perform them. You know what I mean? I could still do them. And uh, with pantomime, it's really hard to do because you have to tell a story without words and sounds. You have to visually act the part. And if people react, that says you're doing a good job. You know what I mean? It's a very I didn't think it was that hard at first, but then I realized, wow, this is harder than I thought it was. And so that was at first I kind of felt inadequate, but I learned from the other actors that like I didn't have a whole lot of experience, and I was kind of like I I I was shocked at the positive feedback that I would get. And even when I went to college, uh, I was expecting like every time I do something, I'm expecting negative feedback. Like I'm expecting someone to say, "Hey, you messed up here. You need to." And through majority of my experience, it wasn't like that. Like people were like, "I liked this and I liked this." And obviously I'm not perfect. I make my uh I make my mistakes. But I just still to this day, I'm just really surprised at how well I've done and how people have given me a lot of like uh, good feedback. And when I did college, each of my pieces I did, I still to this day it blows my mind. I didn't ever get any really negative, any like even constructive feedback. I didn't get that. I mostly got like positive, and I just thought to myself, "Isn't there something like that you guys like? Oh, he could have done better with here. He could have been." It wasn't like that, and I was just so shocked. But I was grateful. You know what I mean? I would tell them, thank you. But when it came to my partners, they had some things that they had to, improve on. But I kind of realized that that was something that I was good at. And uh, and I try, to stay humble, about things. And, no matter how good I be or am, I still prefer to look at things that I can improve on. And that's something that I've kind of learned since I was young, and something that my mom, I love my mom. If I don't keep myself in check, she'll put me in check. And that's something I really love about my friend, or excuse me, my mom. And same with my friends. I have friends that will put me in check if anytime I go up there, because when I was younger, I was playing football. I thought I was better than everybody, and uh, I have not done that since because it was a very depressing point. Nobody wanted to talk to me, even my family, couldn't really stand me. And so I tell people a lot of the times, especially like athletes, I tell them, don't ever think you're better than everybody because you're not. In the end, just like me, you bleed red blood just like me. Uh, and there's always somebody better. There's always somebody stronger, faster, smarter, bigger, and better. So you always want to try to humble yourself. And uh, so I try to stay humble because I've learned from experience that when you think you're better than everybody, you're not happy. Like, and I don't care how good you do, how awesome you are, like, you won't go that far in life with that kind of attitude. And that's something that I tell people a lot is try to stay humble because if you don't, someone will put you in check. There will be someone in your life that will be like, "Hey, dude," like they'll pull you down, and be like, "Yo, don't be doing that." You know what I mean? And so I'm always expecting someone to give any kind of criticism. When I was younger, it was hard for me to take, criticism. As I've gotten older, I've learned as you mature and become an adult and just go out through your life, you kind of learn to deal with things professionally and to, when someone gives you criticism or holds you accountable, you have to take it in consideration and to be mature about it. And I was always taught to be mature about things, to be professional, and uh, you know, and it's helped me out in life. It's been difficult at times. Um, and there were some actors I know didn't like me, but they respected me because they knew that I was a good actor. Because I went to state, and it's like you can say what you want, but facts are facts. I went to state. You know what I mean? I went to state the 2 years that I tried pantomime. The first time I ever tried pantomime, I did that. And some of those actors, I think they've been into acting for a long time. And there's one guy that I acted with. His name's Alex Walsh. And last time I heard, he was doing commercials in New York. And he was a good actor. He was a really good actor. And he liked me, but I wasn't a big fan of him because uh, he was able to get the ladies. And so I was kind of jealous of that. I'll be real. Uh, but he liked me. And, uh, there were some actors that liked me and some that didn't. And, I realized in life that you can't please everybody. You know what I mean? And I realized that in life, like, you're not ever going to be happy if you try to please everybody. And so you kind of have to pick and choose, your battles. But that was one thing I was really happy about was uh, some of them, had different opinions, about me. And uh, anytime like they didn't really like me, it was like, well, you can feel how you feel about me, but facts are facts. Our teacher has me do things that she feels that would benefit, and it helped us out in the end. You know what I mean? It helped our school, uh, perform better. And I didn't really, in college, I didn't act really in any plays because I didn't think I had the time. But I missed acting on the stage. And when I did a class in college, I had to do a paper on why they keep theater, why they should keep the arts in high school versus having mechanics, woodworking, stuff like that. And I was really surprised that when my professor said, he said I brought up a very good point. And I talked a lot about how it helps people. And without entertainment, we wouldn't have all those celebrities. We wouldn't have the films. We wouldn't have those famous musicians. Uh, those dancers, the singers, even these top athletes. It's called entertainment. And without these theatrical performances, we wouldn't have those. And there's been theatrical performances way back even before the Greeks, ever since Christ came here, and way throughout history. And so it's a big deal. And I talked about jobs, and I talked about how it's helped a lot of students. It's helped a lot of people deal with life. And I pointed out, honestly, without arts, a lot of people would have committed suicide. You know what I mean? Because that was my way of dealing with life. And at the moment when uh, I was doing it, I was going through a difficult time. I was 17, and high school is kind of the stage where you enter life. You go to college, you get a job, go in the military, you go to, you do whatever you're going to do. And so I said that mechanics, woodworking, that stuff is a good trade. It's a good thing to have. However, without art, there would a lot of people, in my opinion, I think wouldn't be alive today. A lot of people wouldn't have the way to express themselves. And and when I did that paper, I brought up those points. I brought up, I understand that mechanics, woodworking, writing, like all these different skills, I could understand that it could help you with everyday life. But art does too. Why do you think I put on the paper, that's why people pay for so much for entertainment. That's why there's so much money in that business, because people want to be entertained. They want that art piece because it helps them. It helps inspire them. It helps them to achieve the things that they want to, achieve. Whether that's a dancer, a singer, an actor, director, writer, it don't matter. There's in the art world, there's always something that inspires somebody to be like, I want to do better because I saw this. You get people all the time that watch plays and watch films, and they're like, that was a good movie. That really like gave me a perspective to possibly change. And that's why I would like to do film, because I would like to help make a film that people will watch and it's meaningful, and they're like, wow, I'd like to, the I like the story, and maybe I need to change some things. Maybe, I want to be part of something that will benefit society, that will help people. I I if I were I would be very happy in life if I ever got, like, if I was part of a film and somebody said, "Hey, what you did or this film helped me out." You hear things like that all the time from like celebrities. I personally I probably would cry if I ever got something from someone that said, "Hey, this, you're acting, or you're directing, or whatever, this helped me from killing myself. This helped me deal with the difficult." Me personally, that would mean a lot to me. You know what I mean? That's something that
Yeah.
I personally, uh, because that's what I care about. Is I care about when I've looked at careers and jobs ever since I was young. I've always wanted to do something that helps people, that benefits society, to help them achieve their goals that they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, that's what's it's really cool when it comes to the art aspect of it, because all different forms of art is the expression of God. And
Right.
I love how you had presented your art piece, or why theater should be in place continued throughout history, is because all different forms of art
Right.
continues that type of cycle. and it helps us what's happened in the past. It educates us. It doesn't just entertain us, but it's educating us how society is and what we've gone through in life as a society, as humanity, or just the whole cycle of the planet's, evolution. And without that, because even textbooks is a piece of art, it's a piece of form of expression and just on paper. And yeah, so you had mentioned like how you love going in theater is because it brings you into this whole new world. And so art as a whole, it brings you into this higher state of consciousness. It brings all your levels of awareness and
Very
dreams.
therapeutic.
Yes.
Art.
Yeah. And so there's like art therapy, and there's anything in life there's art in it. And so the way we're communicating, there's an art dance of the listening and and the giving and the taking of the receiving, giving. But
There's a saying, pardon me for interrupting you again. There's a saying, I like Shakespeare. Not all the plays, but the two plays I really like specifically is Hamlet and Midsummer's Night Dream. I like them because of the story. Shakespeare, he has a quote that I really enjoy. It is, life is a stage and we are the actors performing. I can't remember the exact, you can look it up, but I know that he says life is a stage.
no, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
gotta watch that movie again. It's there's just so many things when it comes to the theatrical part of acting and presenting evolutions of thought process of how humanity has thought things and just passing it on forward, like how you're just bringing through Shakespeare's writings. It's how we communicate, how we pass on, of how we evolve and how we learn and grow. And oh, gosh, I'm like losing my process now. But anyways, overall, I just love how you bring in the aspect of a whole new world. It's like it's where people come together, is the art arena of bringing people together, whether it's in a church or in a community or in a company. They bring through art. It's like just to different kind of recreation is yeah. So in closing, did you want to add any like forms of inspirations for the viewers, listeners, and you want to like share your contact information where they can reach you, and just leave it on the video and not put it on the link?
I would say something that just keep doing what you can. Um, at times it may not seem to matter, but you don't know who's watching. And the I would say the biggest thing is just keep doing what you can, just like you are doing what you can, um, because that's all we could do is just keep doing what you can. Um, I have a TikTok. TikTok is kind of mostly where I do some, uh, I guess, little videos. I do some stuff with my son, um, and then whatever else funny stuff I do. But my TikTok, it's QW Sharky. Um, I could possibly I can give you that information because uh, there's like it's QW and then Shark and then I at the end.
Okay, yeah. And then your Facebook, did you want to present that as well? I can actually put it on the first discussion thread for others who might be interested.
Yeah, it's my name, which is Eli Sherman.
Eli
Uh,
Sherman.
yeah, and so there's some stuff I mainly with Facebook. I've put a lot of stuff with my son, and um, I with TikTok. I'm more involved on TikTok because like I'll make little videos, and I've actually thought about putting the pantomime that I did uh, on TikTok. I've thought about because I had a conversation with my friend, and he's been wanting to see me perform it because I've sent him videos of pantomimes because I he didn't know anything about pantomimes, so uh, I gave him some samples of what pantomime is, and uh, it's cool because like things that I've done, I'm used to like the general population. So I'm used to jobs and people that aren't as artistic and people that don't know that general idea. So I'm the type of person that I try to make things, I guess, cool. And just like with the miming, uh, not a lot of people know about it, and uh, some people think it's boring. But the way that I present it is, I guess, it's cool. At least that's what I've been told. And so, a lot of things in life, that's what I do. Is I try to present things in a cool way. I mean, in a professional way, but in a way that people are like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." You know what I mean? And so, because I try to look at things in a different perspective, and even when I did I had a class, a design or uh, I can't remember exactly. It was some kind of analysis class, and we were doing set design. And uh, I told the professor, I was like, so it's kind of like football, it's kind of like sports, acting, like theater. And some of the classmates are like, "What are you talking about? That's nothing." And my professor's like, "No, he's actually right." I said because there's a playbook, which is a script. There's uniforms, which is the costumes. And you got the stadium, which is the stage, and you got the coach, which is the director. And I said it's the same with every other sport. And they're like, "Oh, that's," and I was like, that was just kind of something that I just barely thought of at the time. I was like, I didn't really, it connected. And same with uh Bruce Lee in martial arts. He says in one of his videos, martial arts to me is an art. I am expressing myself without lying to myself. And that's what art is. That's why it says art, because every art, you express yourself. And everything we do in life, there is a form of art. Whether you're doing a job interview or you're performing a certain task at work. Uh, anyway, sorry, I kind of went on the,
No, no, I just love it. I love it when you keep
but
going on and on.
but
No,
the
that's awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah. Thank you again for this interview and for being on my show for the
or
first person and start that pioneer process. And yeah, and I wish you well on your in your dream and pursuing that film actor. And it's awesome. And I think you should put that film out on your
Adamite.
TikTok and even on Facebook if you can. So the others who are like watching this show, this podcast, they can actually look into your work. And I mean, you have so many big gems in your life. It's awesome. You have something, your background experience and whatnot. It's all there. So yeah, thank you again, and I hope to hear from you. And depending on how the viewers with their interest and discussions, and I'll just keep you updated.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.